All right, my kittens, here we are. Like no errors are going to stop us. So it's going to be really short music because before we start, like there are like quite a few astrological things to basically cover. So let's just jump in, grab your coffee, and see you in a bit. And we are here. How is everybody today, guys? I hope everybody's doing well. I'm really excited because I figured out last night quite a bit, but then I figured out this morning, let's actually make it more concise, not just like fiddling with it. And I had to figure out the software, how that software works, and so on and so forth. So, before we start this transition, I realized, oh my God, I'll have to explain in every single sign. So let's make this big introduction. And in the introduction, let's kind of like explain something very unique that is really happening during this astrological transit. So let's see how it is and let's see how we go. And my apologies, I'm jumping right in, and as this is quite a bit actually to cover. And this is only 6 signs that is happening today, and those signs will be starting with Libra and Scorpio, and you'll be guessing other 4. The rules of the game is after these 2 you're able to guess, and if you guess you're going to get your card reading, each guess 1 card at the end, just before our doors, and doors are going to be 1s. All right, so let's see how successful I was with everything that I have been actually practicing on and learning. So what is basically happening? Tiger is going to have interesting time this year. It is his 4th birthday. Oh my gosh, the time flies. I just can't believe it when I was like introducing him over here. And the kittens are going to be in a few weeks 8 months old, and they're already full characters. But the day before Tiger's birthday, on October 25th, we have both new moon and solar eclipse in Scorpio, no less. So that's going to occur at 6:48 Eastern Standard Time. So let me see if I can get this on the screen. Can I? Ooh, oh my gosh, it actually worked. I was expecting the worst after getting all of these error messages today. Alrighty, so let's see over here, guys. Can you see this cluster over here? I don't know if you can even see my mouse moving here. Or do I need to go on that screen, I guess, for you to see my mouse moving? Can you see it, guys? Because I have to go between the screens to really know what you're saying. Hopefully somebody's going to say yes to this, and maybe I can actually look my own screen over here and see if anything is happening. In any case, I'm just going to spend here a few seconds just to see if I see anything, because I actually wrote a whole bunch of things down and I'm just like not seeing any mouse movement on it. But let me see. Bonjour, Lynn. I wanted to list you whole French, whole bunch of the French signs, but it just gave me the limited amount of what I can do over there. So I don't know if you guys see it, but I'll have to explain to you a little bit. So guys, Scorpio, whether or not you have Scorpio, it's going to affect you, because this time around, like, we are all affected with the moon kind of like transits, right? And I'm going to go there and hopefully you guys are going to see what I do. So you can see this is the 25th. I still have Toronto time there because it's just like an Eastern Standard Time. So look at this cluster that we have over here. So let me start with the summary. And I would say I'm going to summarize it for you because this time it's very, very complicated. So let's start with the first one. First one is look back to go forward. The second one is uncertainty is a clue to slow down. And the third one is emotions are everything. So it's very good to kind of like keep this in mind when you're looking at this chart. And maybe to some of you this chart doesn't mean really much, but let's go through it. Like, you know what is really important here? This, look at this, 02. I don't know if you can see my cursor or not. Please do tell me if you see the cursor. It's going to help me so much because I cannot wait like a 40 seconds delay. 40 seconds is a long time when you speak. So somebody hopefully can see on the screen, we see it or we don't see it. So I know that I can give you clues what I'm explaining. So if you see here in the bottom left corner, when you have the cluster, which starts with that red arrow down, we also have a moon, which is at 2 degrees, new moon at 2 degrees, and there's the sun at 2 degrees. So solar eclipse. We also have a Venus at 2 degrees. Check this out. So there are that's called conjunct. When something is conjunct, this means it's very close in the sky. And it's kind of like really working kind of like this way. Let me just go back to the screen where I have your chat to see if somebody's saying. Nobody's saying anything. Everybody's saying hi, 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 hi to everybody. Oh gosh, we have like, I mean, very, we see the chart, but can you see my mouse moving around it? In any case, I'm going to tell you the breakdown and we will go with this. So, this new moon over here that we see, as you can see on the bottom of the screen, in Scorpio, you can see this little kind of like ting ting, kind of like the tail over there on this little M, which is for Mars, believe it or not. Scorpio and Aries ruled with Mars. Interestingly enough, then later Scorpio got Pluto, but Pluto, we decided it's not a planet, so we are back to Mars. So solar eclipse happens at a new moon, which means the sun and moon are conjunct, as I told you, in that particular sign when they're in. So they're like conjunct in Scorpio. However, can you see this like inverted thing, like right next to Sagittarius on 13 degrees? It shows like a Leo sign. It is a reversal. Well, that is the south node. And so this new moon is actually new moon south node eclipse. So it can say, some people say it's a solar eclipse that is on the south node. So the first point that we have, which was, oh, you don't even see the point. Do you see the points? Oh no, you don't. So if you don't see it, then is there even a point? Oh, you do see it. Okay, so it is working to that point. Let me see. Oui, I see this. Oh my gosh, Chantal, merci beaucoup. C'est vraiment utile. So I'm so happy that actually I can actually explain, and you can see what the heck am I talking about over here, right? So okay, so the first point was, let's go back to go forward, right? So there are actually two astrological reasons why I'm saying that. So even though this is a new moon, as you can see it here, we have to go back before we go forward. So typically new moon is about new beginnings. We all look forward to it. We make rituals. Don't mistake to put the full moon ritual in the new moon time, because then you're getting rid of stuff and it's really not good timing, except when it happens like this. So it's about initiating an undertaking generally, right? But this new moon, which is close to the south node, it's more about the past. It's about going really deep inside, and it's about clearing things out, really. In fact, it might be that you have to empty out something, or you have to step away from something before you can move forward. So you might have to close something down. Just like, guys, this is really important, because next 2 weeks, until I think November 8th, we are going to be really affected with this. It's starting again October 25th at 6:48, and it's going to be here for 2 weeks. And these 2 weeks are not going to be easy, not even for Scorpios, and they're up for any challenge. So when I say you need to empty something, like, you know how the Death card, Scorpio card, always come like two creatures. Like, I mean, some people are just looking away, some people are embracing it, some people are curious. But the Death card always comes about a release of some sort. So this is actually what is really happening over here, right? So not just like for a day or two. Don't think, oh, I just got over 25th and I'll be fine. For really good 2 weeks, actually 2.5 weeks, because we still have 3 days up to this day, right? So this solar eclipse is really excellent for purging, right? For detoxing, for decluttering. And that's basically what got into me last night. I started quote unquote spring cleaning. I was like, what happened? And then 10 o'clock at night, I actually really want to iron my sheets, right? Usually you just perma press, who cares, kind of a thing. No, I just need to iron them to sleep on them. So that's when I looked into these astrological aspects, because trust me, I'm tidy, but I'm like, I joke that I'm OCD, but trust me, I'm not crazy. When you live alone for such a long time, you realize that the life is out there and you're not going to have it if you spend too much time tidying everything up at home. So balance in that way. So what we really need to deal with here is, like, we need to figure out what is it in our past that is that stone around our neck. What are those crucial moments that we have experienced, right? And we have to deal with all the stuff that we accumulated and get rid of that. So that could be physical objects. I don't know, you maybe need to purge your home like I did last night. But it could be emotional stuff. Like, I mean, some congestion inside of you, emotional, energetically, and things from the past that are stuck. You know, like, I mean, they say the Chinese torture, the first drop, second drop, third drop won't do anything, but then it gets to you. So maybe there is like repetitive kind of like thing that has happened throughout your life that has quote unquote cost you that. Well, for example, when somebody tries to mansplain me, I kind of like react. I just don't have any more like, I mean, long patience for that. So it's a really, really short fuse on this one. And maybe this guy didn't even say much or something. But hey, you know what? Sure, yeah, I'm an expert in this, but you're going to tell me how this works, kind of a thing, right? So that's kind of like accumulation of bad experiences that needs to be, and you have a chance to get rid of it, right? And so that is also congesting you not only emotionally but energetically. So that is really affecting our lives. So believe it or not, that this is giving us opportunity for healing. But healing is like birth. It's not really fun experience for anybody. But this is like what is needed to rebuild. Remember like which cards represent Scorpio in tarot? That would be death. That would be the Tower. Hello. And this is what we're talking about for 2 freaking weeks. And then it will be Judgment. So if you really see how they are moving, that is saying, hello, I think you need to leave certain things in the past. And you go, okay, whatever. Yeah, I'll do it later. Then you forget. Then the Tower shows up and it shakes everything up because you haven't done it, right? And then you go, oh, gosh, I have to build everything from the very beginning. And then again, you give up, you're tired, and then Judgment comes and say, okay, let's see how you did. We had not 1, but 2 warnings. So that's where we are. We are working these 3 all at the same time. So the other reason this eclipse is about looking back to go forward, or looking back before you can go forward, rather to say, is that the ruler of eclipse is the planet that rules the sign of the moon is in the time of eclipse. So Mars is kind of like traditional ruler of Scorpio, but I don't know if you can see it here. We see this Mars is in Gemini, and it's really about to go retrograde on October 30th. So you can see like how lots of things, lots of balls are coming up in the air, right? So there are a couple of messages in this eclipse about needing to deal with some unfinished business. So it's time to explode. It's time to say your truth. It's time to give yourself a really, really big hug. So when Mars in Gemini enters retrograde, which is going to be October 30th, it literally retraces its steps, right? So we are invited to do the same. So Gemini asks us to be inquisitive and reassess that we accept what we accept as truth, right? Because Gemini is always like the buzzing, kind of like back and forth, and kind of like, let's do it that way. So even though, again, I repeat, it's a new moon, it's also solar eclipse and the presence of this south node, so that's maybe you can remember for the future. So it's close to the Venus as well. So Venus means questioning how you look, questioning how you dress, but it's also acceptance. It's not like, oh shoot, I have to do this to look better. It's more going to be, I have been trying to do this, but this is the way it is. I kind of have a bigger waistline, and you know what, I accept myself that way. Doesn't mean that this doesn't mean healing, but the healing itself is going to start a process. So it's just kind of like everything happening at the same time, right? So that release is really important, right? We are going to have much better physical vitality on the other end as well. If you guys are doing the work, if you're not just after the first vomiting of all of this stuff just saying that's it, not for me, not doing it. So they even have the ritual with ayahuasca. Maybe some of you are familiar. It's absolutely illegal here in Canada or in the United States, and that is like something that I was really playing with, to go to Peru, where it's generally you go to Peru or Panama, I think, places, and they take you really, really high in the mountain, and they give you this ayahuasca, which is basically DMT. DMT is called God's molecule. It's the reason because you're just lifted. You're like transported from the very bottom to the top of the summit. It's almost like have the God vision at that stage. So there are like different ways you can take DMT, which is highly legal. It has been used for clinical experiments, and I think it's a big promise, especially if it's rendered in clinical setting. But ayahuasca is sort of like an herb that kind of like grows over there, and you start to vomit. So this is the first stage of getting there. Like, you really have to purge everything, and like, that's the only thing that stops me. I absolutely hate that part, and I don't think I would feel well after that. So with just using a plain drug, you just don't have this. But I guess this high alkaline content gets you there, right? So keep in mind that this eclipse, yes, it is, this is all happening in Scorpio, right? And we are still being guided by, informed by what's happening with Mars, right? Which is basically a ruler of the eclipse. So you see how they basically do connect. So with Mars in the station and condition, I don't know if you can see it, back to square Neptune. See, there's a Neptune and Mars. Can you see this kind of like a red thing here, kind of like connecting? So there is like that square happening. Squares are always like stop signs. Like, you see the stop signs, there's a kind of alarm, there's like something that has to happen. So that's, Neptune is like fog. Think about fog, and Mars is like fire. So fire meets fog. So what happens next? Fire wants to spread, but not really sure. So the whole idea of being fire is like you want to make it a bigger fire, right? Fog actually dissipates, and this is the whole idea, to dissipate that. So fire cannot eat fog, because fog is actually water still, right? So this is like what is really happening, that we are not able to see clearly or get information or move forward, but we just cannot figure out how to do the right plan. So this is why I said we really need to go slowly at this stage, right? It's going to be very, very important. The clue number 2, uncertainty is a clue to slow down, right? So it isn't really time to push or rush or do anything quickly. Keep in mind, this eclipse is happening in a water sign of Scorpio, no less, right? And Neptune is Pisces, so it's affecting this as well. So everything here is going to highlight our feelings, our emotions. It's going to highlight the Scorpio. So this is where the rub is. Some of us, like, hello, air signs, are not really comfortable with these big expressions of love, and we intellectualize our feelings. Same thing with you, hello, fire signs as well. Earth signs are more comfortable, but even they don't like big floods either, so it's kind of something very specific to water if you're a water sign. Also, nice beach is fine, but like when you see all of these big waves and tsunamis, no, 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 no. And that's exactly what's happening for each one of us, right? So we are going to start feeling the feelings like Scorpio is feeling it. We are going to be deep and private, and we will want to really defend it very much, like be really, really guarded with that. It's kind of like mine, and you cannot have it, kind of a thing. Keep in mind, we need to release it, because if you feel this way, that's like proverbial Four of Pentacles holding it to his chest, right? We need to kind of release things that basically made us who we are, right? So here it is, like when you see this kind of like moon and the sun together, and it is eclipse. So what is really happening in the eclipse? The moon is taking prominence over the sun, which is another clue that our emotions and our feelings are what's coming up, right? So remember that eclipse is a kind of an interruption of a normal rhythm or pattern, and here it's happening all at a freaking same time, right? So it's interruption that takes away a bright kind of solar conscious light, but instead it evokes that subtle kind of awareness of the unconscious. So things that are actually normally stuck in the shadowy corners of our psyche, kind of like really tucked away, don't want to know it. The things that really, really even hate, or things that we don't want to think about it when somebody really hurt us. And usually my way to say is like, look, I don't want to talk about it. That's Aquarius. I file it somewhere, like, in a like a bag eggshell somewhere, like in the basement, like throw away the key. it's not going to work. Now there's like big winds and big freaking tsunami is coming up everywhere and things are floating everywhere, right? So we now have to point things out. We have to kind of like look into that. So when I say number 3, that emotions are everything, this is what this is really talking about, right? So the eclipse might give you an opportunity to connect with or understand some feeling or emotion that was really hard for you. For some of us, this is the feeling of inadequacy or codependence, or just feeling that the life is passing us by, or feeling that others are getting a better deal and better slice of the cake, right? But you're going to start seeing your place in the universe after this. It's very, very strong eclipse. So obviously I'm spending all of this time to explain, just to let you know about that. So it's something that has been there possibly for a long time. Another way to see so much emotion and feeling and sensitivity, and maybe even a little bit of, I don't know, that psychic quality, because Scorpios tend to be able to go very deep, and when you go very deep you stir things out and then you understand the other person on some kind of like deeper level. It's because that eclipse ruler Mars, right, which is having that aspect to Neptune, is a planet full of feelings. So Neptune is a sign, right, that is like, so that's your proverbial Pisces are having their little Neptune here. So it's a sign that is full of our emotions. So in Pisces we have big emotions, right? And we have full spectrums of emotions in Scorpio. So how those emotions compare? There you go, analytical Aquarius. How this kind of like works for you. So Marsy type of emotions are very uncomfortable, right? Usually fixed signs will feel more like Marsy type emotions, and they're like anger or rage or betrayal or hurt. So if you're like Leo, Aquarius, Scorpio, or Taurus, generally you're more stable, but once when you become unstable, oh boy, kind of a thing. So we need to be, but all of us to some extent have fixed signs in our charts and it can really affect us, right? So we need to be aware when we have those emotions that they don't become toxic inside, they don't fester, right? And they're not negatively affecting us without us knowing it. So when I say number 3, emotions are everything, because this eclipse can be a helpful activator to stir. It might not be a pleasant experience, but we can have some releasing or letting go of this, right? So let me wrap this up. So all of these type of eclipses are not great for major undertakings. Like, it sounds really cutesy, right? But perhaps like that there's a little bit of healing or reflective work that you might want to do, or release work through the eclipse, but gentle is always best. So keep in mind that energy and influence of this eclipse is on the 25th of October, which is Tuesday, and from the 25th to November 8th, when we have lunar eclipse. Hello, more kind of like troubles. So we want to wait until the moon has passed through that eclipse zone, right? So the moon is going to travel to the full moon here, and then it's going to come to the Sagittarius. So when it comes around Sagittarius, until that point, I would really wait with making any major decisions, which, yeah, it does mean like almost like an entire month, not 2 weeks as they suggest, because we want to stay quiet and low key and very kind of like mellow way through the eclipse itself. And then when the moon comes in the Sag a few days later, right, we can then get into the healing and releasing, and then the looking back to help us to go forward, dealing with unfinished business. So make sure again that we are moving slowly, Everything that you're doing has to be well thought out. Everything you need to ask yourself, is this going to trigger me? Even the smallest things. Maybe you don't like shopping in Home Depot because the people don't help you, and if this is going to trigger you, you need to be very conscious of even that, doing it. So take time to acknowledge and express your emotions, even if the only person you can express your emotions is to yourself. Then have this dialogue with yourself. That's what we are doing in this kind of like period. So I hope, guys, that I didn't put you asleep with all of this, and let me go out of this thing over here, and let me remove my little notes, and let's now go to the readings that we need to have. Where are you guys? What did I miss? What did you say? Kylie said, I'm right on course, feeling it. Sag Sun, Aries rising, Libra moon, Aquarius Venus. Oof, oof, oof. There's going to be lots of releasing, Kylie. I think I'm already noticing this as well. So, Chris, good morning. Oh, I have an admit slip. Oh, that's cute. So, but you're just right on time, because we are actually just starting like good freaking 30 minutes of this. So Libra has the last day of the birthday, so happy belated birthday, Libra. It was really nice to go through that period. It was like also the period of balance. When you release something and you need to learn how to release things, it's kind of like saying thank you, like even for the bad things. It's like thank you. It has taught me some lesson. I have learned that lesson once when I was really, really mad with my boss, and he actually fired me, and it was like so bad. It was like nothing that I did. It was just like his own incompetency. But you know what? He has taught me so much. And he actually called me, he in HR, and asked me like for that exit interview. And I said, you know what, I really, if nothing else, I can really, really thank him, because he has taught me how not to do things. And that's very, very important. Well, it was ultimately not a nice thing to say, but that's the point of exit interview, right? So let's go. Libra. Libra, you are first. So this kind of clean the area here, and Libra, let's start here. Let's put it here. Libra. 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 You have Knight of Swords. It's freaking awesome. This one really wants to come out. The Magician. And this one and this one. Whew. You have the moon in Aquarius, which really talks about, you think, guys, again, every single sign, I need to remind you that you need to see this introduction, because that introduction applies to all of us. It is just how it's going to show me what you think and how you think you'll go through it. So you guys think, nope, not me, no problems, I'm going to just cut through it. Like, this is like why you have the Knight in Swords over here. The mission, look at this, air and air and air. You're like really, really justifying this, and it takes one to know one, right? The Magician, no, I can do it. I have been through thick and thin, and like, I've been there. I will rely on my friends, but you know what? You'll be actually really dealing with friendships. That's going to be the zone that is going to be affected here, because it goes from here to betrayal. So there's like something that is going to happen that is going to prompt the chain reaction. For me, I'm already feeling, I guess we kind of like psychic types, we are like more sensitive than the rest of the people. And I'm already feeling it for a while. I have been purging and processing the death of my mom that happened earlier this year, which I didn't have any issues. I remember when that happened before with one death, it was like nothing for 6 months, and then boom, it just like happened. So that is already like working that healing, like, I mean, purging this kind of stuff. But look at this. You guys, without this card, it would look all nice and rosy, and you're like doing everything. You are like already setting up new stage and already working this new direction. This could be some maybe light birthday, guys, that you're organizing or gathering with friends. But look at this like full moon here that we are really dealing with. So we are dealing with Scorpionic full moon, which is basically full moon in Taurus in the stage, which again goes back to maybe what is security for you. And you share Taurus, you share this Venus, and you see that Venus is also to South Node. So for you, that is very applicable. So I was telling, but I guess I sidetracked. Venus is going to make us look different, assess how we look, assess what makes us happy, assess a whole bunch of things, right? It's going to be about comfort, but somebody for you is going to create that discomfort over here. So let me see, what is this all about over here? Ooh, this one wanted to jump out. It's could be that special person that you have in your life, that you will feel that somebody is, and this is not something that you guys will stand for. Many women, many clients of mine, unfortunately, and sometimes you have to negotiate. I'm not judging here, but just like it's noticing, would put their partner ahead of them. Sometimes I also see, for example, oh well, apologies, well he has to do it, he has kids and kids come first. I don't even know why somebody would utter things like that. Just because somebody has baggage, that doesn't make them more important. It makes that they have to work harder to provide you what you need, right? And basically you need to be on the equal standing with that baggage they have in their life. Only thing, it's a little bit harder for them to move forward, guys. So there's like something here that maybe something like that is happening, that somebody feels, yeah, you know, I'm more important over here, or they put their needs ahead of yours, and you really feel slighted. Maybe even comes after you bragging to your girlfriends how great something was and how you're glorifying somebody, and then puff, it just happens after. You know, like, I mean, what was this Oscar curse when these women come and brag about their partners, and the next thing you know, there's like some crap coming out. So something like that might come through. But this can also mean somebody else you feel you're close with. Could be a boss, or it could be even a parent of some sort. Something that you are just blindsided. You're just not seeing it. So that is going to be something you will need to kind of like deal with. Lorna said that happened to me when I lost my mother. Oof. I am really sorry to hear it, because it's just not fun. And I forgot to put your fluffy Libra sign here, because these are monthlies after all. So let me do that, but let me not forget to put Scorpio here. Where are they? So because Scorpio, you're going next. So now guys, for everyone, this next reading is going to affect us all. So there's like no escape, and this is like why sometimes I have a difficulty just reading the signs and just say you're the sun, I'm Aquarius, but I'm also Leo, right? But I'm also Libra, right? I also have kind of like different aspect. I have Mercury in Virgo, so I have all of these aspects, and so do you. So it's really hard to kind of like find this little bracket. And sure enough, I think some people just go by ascendant. Like, I mean, Vedic astrology is completely run by ascendant, where I'm a Virgo ascendant. I just don't see it. I just see Virgos as, I am organized, sure I'm organized, but the Aquarians are organized, right? And do I like health food? Yeah, but I also like my tiramisu. Kind of like, it's not like really what I see as Virgo, because Virgo puts everything through the filter if this is like really the best for me. Aquarius, everything puts through the filter of, oh, this is interesting. Oh, look, this person is a freak, but he's interesting, right? And that's kind of like a moth to a flame. So that's why I find actually sun signs are really dominant in our lives as well. So Scorpio, my dear Scorpio, you are next. So let's see what we have here for you. Ooh, Scorpio is, oh my gosh, I have goosebumps here. So what do we have? We have Nine of Cups, we have death, This is literally what I was explaining. We have Nine of Pentacles. This is amazing. Like, nines are about finishing something. And let me see, to make a deal. So it is Eight of Cups. So it's really interesting because Eight of Cups, that comes usually before this card, is like somebody is leaving what they have, and they have a lot. It's like, why did you leave this girl? She was like so good to you. Or that boy, he's like everything that you can hope for. Yes, he is, but I don't know if I'm feeling what I want to feel, right? I don't know if I'm feeling all that kind of a thing, right? So where are we getting here? So she gets to this point, like after all of that, she's like really happy on her own. So nines are all leading back to the Hermit, to that kind of like self-discovery, to understanding that technically you don't need other people to be happy or content. But this is also after this stage that we realize, okay, I have accomplished everything to be on my own. Do I feel comfortable staying there, or I'm going to challenge myself? Because you still have 10 and Page and Knight and Queen and King. You have like 5 more levels about that. So are you just happy just speaking a little of English, or you want it all, right? Because that's where the difference is. But this happened this way. So what happens, sometimes you leave, but you find that you actually already had things and you just have learned it later. So that's what usually happens, Scorpio, and maybe that's what's going to happen to you, that you have a partner who you have left for somebody else, or you wanted to explore more, but then they became unavailable, and now you're actually coming back and meeting them again and dealing with that. So look at this. This is the end of this phase. If you guys know Scorpio, and as I said, this is applicable on all of us. If we have been for a while just doing our own thing and enjoying our things, and Nine of Cups is a really big comfort level, and or if we became very comfortable who we are and where we are, this is going to change. This is going to go to the solar eclipse. So Scorpio, and anybody who is listening to this, and all of us, please go and read this introduction. I'm going to send it to you via newsletter because I think it's very, very important. Lazy is the name of the day over here. I only send newsletters when something is important, which is really hurting my business, but it is what it is. Also, guys, I forgot to put that. We have, I have Room Now. And where is my next note? Here. Do I have it? Voila. Personal annuals are available right now, so it's better to grab me now, because in December, around the holidays, which I used to be always exhausted, I'm actually planning to take some time off for myself. So after the 15th of December, we are going to have a break in all of this stuff, and I'm going to possibly release kind of like New Year's, kind of like what is happening here, maybe without live, so for people to see. So that's kind of like the reading they can actually have for the entire year. But this is why it will be good for you to order your own annual, to have it ahead of the time. So oh, Kylie, like that somebody reads it. I wish I have somebody who can proofread it, because I send it and it's like, oh, why did I not read it? It's because like a whole bunch of typos and stuff. But I think you guys will forgive me. This is kind of like accepting yourself where you are. So here we go. We are all going through this eclipse. We are now going, the sun is shining on Scorpio, and people do want to sit in the sun, right? We do get attracted to Scorpio. Scorpios are freaking fantastic, just like every sign when the sun is shining on them. But look at that. They are like, they're purging big times. Like everything is stirring around them, like you cannot see this. And you know why? I don't know why. My Octopus Teacher movie just came to my mind. It was like that one scene. If you guys didn't see it, it's a beautiful documentary, but make sure you have a box of Kleenex next to it. It's spectacularly great. It's a confession of a man who hasn't been very emotional, who hasn't been connecting with his family, and who has learned to get there by a teacher that was like just not something he had on his bingo card. So it was that one scene that he is swimming, because he's swimming to visit his octopus friend every day. And he said everything was like not in place, everything was like stirred, like the debris everywhere in that kelp forest, which was like, photography is gorgeous. Watch it on the best possible device that you have, right? So Barbie is reminding me that I need to pull the next sign so you guys can guess this. But let's see. This is not, guys, about us having planets in Scorpio. Sure, you need to see which planets those are. They can neutralize kind of like the problems, right? But this is Scorpio doing what Scorpio wants to do. So this is like one door is shut, closed, another one is going to open, but not before. Look at this, is even showing that fog that I was telling you about it. And I don't know if you can see it. There's a kitty cat walking away over here. And there is like the cord. Can you see it? Cut the freaking cord. And you guys sometimes hold on to someone for the entire lifetime. You would not let them come back, but you hold on to them for a lifetime, because it's almost like a Lego block that has made you who you are. You are releasing it. You're releasing it, but it's really difficult for you because you kind of like grew to learn to have a comfort over there. And then you have this Ace of Pentacles, the Nine of Pentacles. Nine of Pentacles, again, like, I mean, you go to the places that are really comfortable for you. Almost looks like you are alone over here, or you want to be left alone. And you are like here with a glass of, like, there is again that like Venus that I told you it's in your sign, which is going to make you super sexy, super attractive. And somehow you're not going to be very responsive to advances over here. And then I think you actually might be going back to someone who actually meant quite a bit for you. But the question is that someone going to be available? I want to see this a little bit here, and I see my Just Be Girl, they're getting bigger. The first one is desire. Maybe you're killing desire for somebody over here. Maybe that's what it is. You're saying, you know what, maybe it's the end of hope as well in this case. But I also want to see this Eight of Cups. It's fortune. Yes, something good is going to happen, you know, after all of this work, after all of this vomiting and puking and rebirth. Like, we are exhausted, like we really want, like, even the smallest thing is going to like read as comfort. So I think we are going to get a newfound appreciation for the small things in life. So I think this is the message for all of us, because that is very important reading for every one of us to understand. So let's see, isn't this kind of like, this is always my Halloween deck, I guess. You guys, if you follow me for a while, you kind of like know. So look back to go forward. Exactly, thank you. All right, so who is next? You guys threw in your hats, and in order to speed it up, like by the time that I'm done, I'm going to just open the sign. So you have to start throwing your hats before this is all happening. And I'm going to grab another one over here. So the next one is, oh yes, we are still in the running because we just did Libra. But let me see, did anybody get, like, this is really interesting because Taurus is going to be like affected. So just if eclipse is happening in fixed signs, like all other fixed signs are affected. So let's see what happens with Taurus, because they're a little kind of like Venus is going to get affected there. Taurus, let's put your little sign over here. Scorpio, remove you and put Taurus. I did put the new one. You guys can start the moment when Barbie announces the sign. That's the basically the end of guesses, and it's the beginning of guessing the news. So feel free to do it. So the next one is, let me just write it down. Taurus at, all right, Taurus. I think Chris is Taurus rising, if I remember him. But if you really think about it, guys, because I actually know there are 12 signs, but I usually boil them down to 6 because it's like a teeter-totter, right? So you have a Scorpio, you have Taurus. They're interconnected. Leo, Aquarius, right? Sagittarius, Gemini. That's what they say, opposites attract. Ooh, look at that. You have the devil reversed. Ooh, guys, you'll be overspending. I really have to tell you. You will be doing something about life comforts. Holy moly, you don't want a simple reading, you just want a whole bunch of stuff. Then you have Justice, which is like the karma card, right? Something major happening. Then you have 5 of Cups, you have 4 of Cups. Like this is like, I mean, go backward before you go forward, right? Then you have the Sun, you have 5 of Swords, and you have 2 of Swords. Whew! Buckle up. What do I tell you? You guys really need to buckle up. So was this Taurus? This was Taurus. I guess I need to take another one over here to start. So, starting with a big bang. This new eclipse, you're going to feel it really, really strongly. This, I don't want to sugarcoat. It's going to bring lots of emotions and lots of regrets and lots of beef that you have. Taurus is one of those signs that holds a grudge and holds a grudge for a long time. Sometimes deservedly so. Most of the time they don't even understand or want to understand the actions of the other person, right? And this is why this is showing the court case over here. Like there's like some temptation of something. It could be connecting with some kind of legalese or legalities. It's really super cute in this card that we have a black cat and a white cat, and they're like complaining about, and also that she's like peeking right through. And this to me, it's like very realistic because judgment is that universal justice, but this is like a human justice. It's still karma card. Why? Because it can shift the focus of our life, right? So it's that fork in the road. You took the wrong fork over here. It is upright. So this is actually asking you to release something, release some kind of indulgence. Maybe you're subscribed to a zillion one little things, and this is not a problem with money that you're spending. The problem starts that problem is like generated that you actually are scattered brain in all these directions. You're not kind of like able to drive this through. And Taurus, your fixed sign, it's very important for you to kind of like have this vision. But remember, I said we will be going through fog. It will be very, very uncomfortable dealing with our emotions, and lots of emotions will come through over here. So there is like a blindfolded card over here, and she's blindfolded. So we have we only miss actually the 8 of Swords here to be blindfolded, which was in Scorpio's reading. So which means that, yeah, sorry, not 8 of Swords, it was 8 of Cups, pardon me. So the 8 of Swords will be another blindfolded card, and it would talk about, you know, again, not having this perception of what is really going on. So you're going to go with your gut feeling over here. So you have like 3 majors over here. It's ridiculous. Like, I mean, half of your reading is pretty much majors, and very, very strong majors, right? So this is 11. It is 2, but it's also 1-1. I always see 11s as leaders of the leaders, not necessarily 2, but leaders of the leaders know that sometimes you have to give in, or sometimes you have to package things so that's more palatable, kind of like for the other person, right? So this is a 6. It's a good card for relationships, but it's freaking devil. And 15 is like, I mean, when it's reverses, it's like person is just not cluing it in. Just it's not responding. It's just like, I want to do that, I want to do it, and I want to do it, and that's how I always did it, and that's how I'll do it. Never mind that freaking the wave is coming to crash your house. No, I'm going to stay there. Kind of like that stubbornness that is really happening through this card. But something or somebody will maybe order you, or really strongly give you no choice. That is going to make you very, very sad over here. I don't know, maybe you have Libras, Capricorns, or Leos in your life. You might also have Cancers in your life that is really affecting you. So you're going to recover. It's going to be the family and friends that are going to pull you out. You might really be in some kind of depression, or um, like, you will not call it depression. Taurus is never depressed, like just like Scorpio, never depressed, right? Even though they're sulking, they're losing weight, no, never depressed, kind of a thing. Which we can see it here. Don't stay away from the booze, kind of like Taurus, right? But look at this. We have this in Five of Swords and then in Two of Swords. Lots of things happening. Some kind of a gamble is not going well. Some kind of like things are really, really difficult to decide. She's throwing for all the swords, but she has the crow, she has the cat over here, and she actually doesn't really know what she's throwing it at. So it's maybe throwing words at somebody, abusing somebody, and the words have meaning, and the meaning have action, and the action has consequences. So this is kind of like a situation that is going to create your own pain that comes to the surface. When it comes to the surface, it might affect others, given your, I guess, rendition of it, given how you deal with this. But it's almost like this pain in your case is a sign that things are actually happening and going in a good direction. You have actually released something. The birth is done. Yeah, it was like horrible, like going through this canal and what the hell is happening, and the brakes are not working. But you're out there, you're ready, right? Kind of a thing. Just like it's a shock of a new environment, and adaptation is really difficult for fixed signs. We kind of like where we are, and that, as I said, Lego blocks, and then something happens. It's like, oh my God, I have to build a new system, and just cannot help yourself. So let me just see all of these, so there's an emotional component over here, right? There's like a fire, air, right? And this is like the only card that really links to the element, and this is like something you fall back to. It's kind of a skill you have in your little finger. So let's kind of check. The Devil card is it's saying merriment, allegrezza, but it's also reversed, right? So something is not fun, to simplify the matter. Something, or maybe you don't have fun in your life anymore. Something is really needed to be seen or assessed in a different way, right? So let's see these emotions over here. We have the Lover reversed. Maybe you're missing somebody. Maybe somebody could be the water sign that you're missing. Maybe just like emotionally you're being really affected. Things are coming to the surface. Something very important. But again, 5 and 4 is a 9, which is kind of like some kind of like the ending, if you wish, right? And let me see, finally over here, you're going to just get so tired of all of these things that will be happening for you in the next month. You might, this is, remember what I said, depression, it's really showing up here, or you will just be a little sick over here. I don't know why, but I'm feeling a really strong urge that I have to tell you, do not take home remedies. Do not just go search on the internet what can be taken to remedy the situation, because that actually may create things worse, or you might trigger something in your body that is going to purge it, right? It's not going to like it. So you really have to move slowly to go forward. Very, very important. So I see some of you already had guesses over there, which is good. So what do we have? We have Aries and Sagittarius. This is the last call. When I put these cards in, I am going to remove this one. Where's my mouse? Here it is. And let's see who is next. When I remove Taurus, we are going now into the shuffle. Shuffle just to get it. And okay, so I have enough guesses here, and the next one is, ooh, we're still running. Look at this, like they would come through, like Libra and Scorpio had to give us their 2 cents. So this is going to be the next one, because now we pulled everything, and this is going to be the one after that one. So let's see. We have Cancer. Do we have Cancer? We have Cancer. Not in this round, I think. Let me just write this in. Cancer. So we are right on 1 hour mark. Actually, I'm not doing that badly. I thought this first part I'm going to really derail. Like, I mean, the promise that is going to be around 1 hour, but it's not going to go really way over. So Cancers, let's see. So I was mentioning lots of Scorpio. I was mentioning lots of Pisces. So please make sure you watch introduction because it's very important. It's the biggest part of your reading, actually. But as I was mentioning Scorpio and Pisces in that introduction, I didn't mention Cancer. And Cancer deals with emotions differently. They kind of like take everything like in and process it, regurgitate things. And since this is going to be a really emotional period, let's see what's going to happen. So it's just like 4 cards just blurred out. So Cancer, I don't know if you have, oh my gosh. So this is the Star, which is wonderful. You have King of Swords, which is great. We have King of Wands, which is great. We have 6 of Cups, which is for you fantastic. So there is like one reading that looks really good, but keep in mind that there will be some release that you also need to happen. Again, go and watch the beginning, the introduction. So the Star, I don't know, do you guys have an Aquarius in your life? If this is not particularly referring to Aquarius or somebody who has a very strong Aquarius, what's going to happen here is that maybe you're releasing some dreams. Maybe you need to follow your star, or maybe you didn't follow your dreams and now you're saying, what the hell am I doing? Did I really resolve to just live life like this? And all of this stuff that I wanted, you know, like my karma cards, which I use for my private readings, there's this one card of the little kind of like child that his dad died when he was very young, so he stepped in the big shoes to be the man of the family in like old times. So he watched the other kids play, and he couldn't play. He had to be adult, right? And once he saw the kids, he really want to play, and he started to cry, and that embarrassed him, and he went behind the tree and really cried. And he said, that's it, my tears are leaving right here at this tree. So years later, he is dying, and you know how you go through your life, and if you have any regrets and what you're doing, and this tree and that event pops up, right? It was there all the time. It was suppressed, and he was successful and he did well in his life, but he said, oh my God, I have severed a big part of me back then, and I didn't have to do it. So he comes to that tree, he reclaims that inner child that he has buried there, and now he is able, as a wholesome, full thing, to kind of like go and continue. So it's better ever than never, if you wish. So you might have lots of people around you here. People in the present and people in the past popping up, but also people in the future. It's so weird. There's a future, there's a present, and there is a past. But look how it's going. We have to go back in order to go forward, right? That's kind of like what we see over here. So individually, this is also could be something legal or something studious, and this could be something, I don't know, maybe a Cancer who has a strong air or strong fire inside of your own kind of like chart, which can actually represent you. So there are like some actions, there are like decisions and checking everything on the paper. There are actions over here, and there's like some kind of like memories. And I don't know, for some reason I feel this is connecting with this card over here. It's very strong reading. It's talking about something that hasn't been possible is now being made possible, but you first need to come to terms about it. There's like really nothing to confirm, except this is a really big clue over here, that there's like somebody who you kind of like did put on a pedestal, or some project that you always wanted, but I don't know why maybe the life got in the way. Very simple explanation. Now like you're coming through, you're contacting somebody, or somebody from the past is contacting you. Actually, I'm gonna just check that card if I can get more information. I don't know, was it somebody, an ex-spouse? Interesting that the officer is coming through. Officer is like somebody who guards secrets. It's something secretive, something quiet, something under the covers. So it could be some kind of like affair that maybe couldn't be more because it was just an affair, it was the wrong thing to do, and now you actually really want to move it forward. But it's something that is really, really guarded, and something that is really hard to penetrate. So very interesting, Cancer. But this is it, you have this forward. Look at the sign that I have, look at the drawing that I had for you. Like you're like hard shell, right? Cancer is that hard shell, and this is really going to challenge you emotionally, that you need to release. And how do you release? Sometimes you release by approaching this person and talking to this person and kind of like going to see where this is going. So we have 2 left today, this one and this one going to be last for today. So let's see what we get out of it. So the next one here, do we have guesses? We have Sagi, we have Aries, woo, Aquarius. Is this even possible that we have 3 fixed, 1, 2, 3 fixed signs? Which am I missing? Leo. 3 fixed signs in the first group. Wow. Wow and wow, what can I say? So let's remove Cancer and put Aquarius. And guys, yes, again, for everybody, please check the introduction. I'm just saying this for the other people who haven't been here on live, because people just jump on their sign. That's all there is. So Aqua is, let me see, 6:30. It's weird, like all of these signs are managing to get right on a full seconds. So Aquarians, doors are in the end, guys. So we just have one more sign, and anybody who guessed gets the reading. And then so far no winners. It's release. Try to, guys, practice this. We are already preparing for it. I need to release. Just try to say to yourself, let me release some old crap, and just to see how much easier it might even be to guess. So let's see. Aquarius. Ooh, Aquarius, we have the Hierophant reversed and Knight of Cups. Very different, but like I can totally see how this is happening for, oh my gosh, very similar to Cancer, except we are putting ourselves first. I say we because I'm Aquarius as well. Let me have a sip of coffee. That's going to be interesting. I'm so glad to see it, because this is almost like anti-Aquarius, the Hierophant. Maybe we have been saddled with what society tells us, and this is what the Hierophant is. In this particular deck, it shows this unity, it shows teaching yoga, and it's so typical Aquarian that's why I laughed to say, I know better. It's kind of like something that we need to curb and need to learn, but it also has some advantages in that whole kind of a concept that we want to do things our way. And if our way, like that's how I did astrology. When you see me doing astrology, it is simply my self-study, and it's not self-study like learning from the other people. Oh wow, if this is like coming close to this is what I have to say. And that's how people also learn tarot, which is like, that's why you cannot trust it, because you need to connect it completely differently. And that's my astrology, and I did guess everything so far, so it's not like that I am a Mickey Mouse in that aspect, but like here, like I can see that being rebellious. So this is going the traditional way, this is going untraditional way, right? It's not always the opposite. In this card it is. Maybe maybe somebody was just freshly separated, and fixed signs generally will not date you if you are only separated, because this person is going through this like big purge that we are all going to go for the next 2 weeks. And Aquarians, make sure you check the introduction, because it's going to talk about this purge, and actually it's going to be a first part of your reading. So In this case, it could be somebody like that appearing and being very lovey-dovey and giving you the feeling of belonging and family. Look at that big river of emotions. So very non-emotional Aquarian, which is not me. I'm actually very emotional, but maybe because I'm cuspy, semi-cuspy with Pisces, I'm just one degree away from being cuspy, and nothing in my chart would actually show that I'm cuspy. So, but I know that I watch sad movies, like my octopus teacher, as I mentioned before. I need a box of Kleenex with that, which is not typical for generally. Maybe this is more of old Aquarius because we all need to move. So this could be us approaching somebody with love. This is literally connection of the family. But keep in mind, if you didn't go and check the beginning of it, and I hope you will, it is really talking that we need to kind of like go backwards in order to go forward. So there's like some kind of tradition, and tradition is also family. And I think we are going to be dealing with things on a family level. Maybe you needed more from your family, because there goes two ways. Why Aquarians become that way? Usually Aquarians are born into families that are not feeling. Usually Aquarians are born in a family that cannot possibly understand them. You'll find Aquarius in a Scorpio family, in a water family, just like you continuously speaking two very foreign languages to each other. It's kind of like really, really hard to kind of like get to that level, right? And there is like maybe expression of I needed that and I needed that. And maybe this is why Aquarians always have this stunned growth, because you haven't learned how to express your own thing. So you, because this is much easier, you kind of like, it's like two different languages. So one language is the one that you eventually learn, and you learn how to express yourself. So being Aquarius over here, the other language, let's say water, is the language that let's say your family spoke and you couldn't understand them because you were wired to first learn this. And now years later you are understanding that even though they spoke this language, they haven't never transferred that language onto you. And now you want it. Now you want to kind of come back and ask questions. What kind of, I have questions, what happened? And ultimately this is just a pit stop, because look at it, like two fixed signs, like it's a Taurus, it's Aquarius, that are kind of like bookends of this reading, right? And these two fixed signs are saying that you're releasing something that held you down. So this could be that you don't like your corporate job, that it's just like too constraining. You have to wear not one mask, not only COVID mask, but a mask, because you just cannot be yourself. The quirkiness and being different is maybe cute in the moment, but it's kind of like being judged in the long way. And you just really need to follow like your heart desire over here. This is like really lovely. Like this is almost like cracking the shell of Aquarians. Any Aquarians out there, guys? Is it just me? But you know, I'm almost getting like emotional just like watching this. It's very unusual combination. I want to see this Hierophant over here, but it's, even though it's unusual, it's lovely. What are the chances? For the Hierophant, I'm seeing Hierophant, right? So, I don't know, some of us got to this religious training, and it is like really hardcore. It's like a stamp. It burns you in. It doesn't necessarily, benefit you. Is religious teaching good? That's debatable, right? Because some of that is a complete nonsense. I'm not a religious person, but I consider myself very spiritual, and some people even question spirituality. So I know how religious people feel when they kind of like are being questioned. So who am I to question their way of dealing with process? And like ultimately they have been formed to create a structure. So fixed signs really relate to that, because that's what I don't like. They're very rigid, right? And it's kind of like takes one to know one. So this is really talking about some kind of rigidity. Maybe this is the message. What we need to let go is that rigidity, that kind of like everything goes and everything's fine. How you wanted to do it this way, you do it this way. It doesn't mean that I will continue on this path with you, but I'm not going to judge you either, because that's where you are right now in your life, and I am going to follow my star. So going back before going forward. Some family issues that it's so appropriate that Aquarius has to address certain things with the family, and addressing it is going to actually make it happier and more connected. Or but family for Aquarius is also the world. The whole world is the family. So you know what, like, I mean, I'm actually really honest with you guys, so they're not really big secrets over here. But you know, it's the time to be really authentic. So if so far you didn't get to that level, and even if you did, there's still probably some stones that you need to turn. Just do it. That's going to be the way it is. And the last one for today is gonna be who is going to be. I wanted to actually give you French signs for today, and do I have them anywhere? I'll read them for you. Some of them are very similar. So they are going to ask, what is your sign? Is going to be quel est ton signe? So quel est ton signe? The French never go word by word, like even in English we don't do it, but like, I mean, with them they glue everything, so that's why you never understand anything, and they also speak very fast. So quel est ton signe? What is your sign? And so you would say je suis, which means I am, and the following sign. Aries is le bélier, and you would say je suis bélier because they always have a gender with stuff, so I'm not going to give you the gender. It might come to play if you want to form the sentence differently, but for this you can just say, for example, Aquarius, verso. Oh, the last part of that is water, so pouring water, verso. Je suis verso. So what is the same? Taurus is taureau, right? It also has the water in the end, interestingly. Then you have lion is lion. Then you have Libra, is interesting, like balance. Scorpion, we don't, do we call it scorpion? I think we call it Scorpio, but they call it scorpion. But in French you never pronounce the last letter or even the last two letters, and yet you glue it with the next word, weirdly, right? Capricorn is the same, Capricorn. Then what did I miss? Gemini is Gemino. Virgo is Vierge, and that also means virgin. Just so you know that if you say je suis vierge, you might get some looks kind of a thing, right? But if that's your thing, it's kind of like good to kind of like have this like opening and play of the words. Who did I forget? I forgot. Yeah, Pisces, and this is a really interesting word because it's poisson. It's almost like similar, and many people make a difference with saying poisson. Poisson. And the difference is the one is like Pisces or fish, another one is poison. So go with that. It's really interesting how they actually have it. So that was my French for oh, look at this, Christelle, you got it. Je suis Capricorn. Oui, merci. Je suis Verseau. Capricorn, and you even knew how to spell it. Fantastic, because it's just spelling a little bit differently. I'm going to actually put it here for you, and I don't know if it's going to let me. Let's go. So it's actually a fun language, I really have to tell you. It's hard, it's very, very hard, but oh my gosh, I can't wait to learn it properly. Getting there. Okay, can I even copy this? It's going to let me? I don't think it's going to let me. I have quite a bit of the extras over here. Let's see. That's just before the last one. Let me see if I cut this and this. Ew. Okay, let's see everything after Scorpio. No. How far? Just one extra. Okay, voila. I got to Capricorn, and then let's do Aquarius and Pisces. Poisson. So here you go, guys. It's your French lesson for today. Believe it or not, they can actually take you very far because you ask things that people understand. Immediately connection. Which brings us to the next one. Did you guys guess it? You didn't guess it. Kylie guessed Pisces. Any other guesses? Come on, guys. Oui, je suis française. Not much mérité. Ok, c'est très bon. Merci. Comment est mon accent? So it's always good to speak with French. Here, I pretty much don't understand French. Who are outside, they have the accent that is incomprehensible, but hopefully it's going to get better. Oh, a cat is here. Hello, hello. She's guessing. Leo always. This is the best thing. Like, I mean, a cat, are you having some kind of like mathematical or statistical background? Because they teach you, you always guess the same. If you're in a test and you're not getting negative points for guessing, always guess C or B, whatever. You stick with it. That's the best chances from all that you're going to have. So guys, guesses. We have Leo and we have a Leo. Anybody else? Kylie had Pisces. Look at this. And the last moment we have two. We have Ikat and Ikat was like, oh my gosh, like what a lucky person you are. Because you're a Leo. And guess what? We have all fixed signs. So what are the chances of having all fixed signs in the first part? So that tells you how important is this eclipse. It tells you how much of a shakedown it's going to be. So guys, again, if you like astrology, if you like tarot as they connect, tarot is a little bit more in depth, I would say, and that's why I like it better. And you probably will see lots of astrologers going to tarot. Did I put it back? Let's do it. So I did it. Okay. I did get enough sleep, so there are no excuses for today. So let me just put a stamp over here for and let's start Leo. So my dear Leo, all fixed signs are freaking affected. So tornado affecting all four corners of your house. What's going to happen? It's going to happen what you have inside and you can take with you. So this is why this introduction and what we need to do, just like remember it, just write it on your palm, because that's when you get in crisis, that's what's going to tell you how to move forward, right? It's very important. Are there different dialects as well in French language? Oh my God, Kylie. There is like just like five. There are 22 dialects in France, and some of them on the south of the France, like Marseille, they have really harsh accent and almost like Germanic kind of sounded French. Then we have like this French really in North America. I don't know how many of you know that Canada actually borders with France, and I don't mean across the ocean. We actually have two islands. They're called Saint-Pierre and Miquelon. Saint-Pierre and Miquelon. They're like on the coast of Newfoundland, which is like all the way in Atlantic Ocean. They're like all the way there. And they're like French, and you have to pay with euros. You have to go with passport over there. It's almost impossible to get there. But they speak Parisian French, which is considered standard French, which is considered something you need to kind of like learn. And then you have Quebecois French, which is the province of Quebec, is the second biggest after France that speaks French, and it's really weird French. It's almost like insult if somebody tells you they speak Quebecois French, but they're very proud. And when you listen to it, I don't want to learn Quebec French, but they're so much more fun. French people a little bit stiff. And then you have New Orleans French, which is very close to this Acadian French, but New Orleans didn't really develop because it was squished in the US. In the US doesn't really help or promote learning the other languages, which in Canada we do. But this Acadian is almost like incomprehensible for me. So I don't know if Cajun French went in the same way, but Canadian Acadian got stuck in the 17th century. So just think about that somebody's talking to you in Shakespearean English, and it's just like, huh? Like, what do I do now? And it's just kind of like all the way up. It can be a big confusion. So long explanation of the answer. So let's go and check this Leo. Oops, see. And it was flying this way, and it ended up this way. And it is Four of Cups. These two wants to come out. Seven of Pentacles, Knight of Wands. Does this all want to come out? No. Leo. And then you have Three of Cups and Eight of Pentacles. So good news, bad news. From all of these signs, you are actually, so this is moving backward to move forward, and actually we see it. But from all the signs that I read today, you guys don't have big freaking things thrown at you, so that's a good thing. Even though you have Nine of Wands, the Nine of Wands is shown with the back to us, which is you. So you might guys have some connection to Sagittarius over here. It might be some kind of like family event. When I say Sagittarius, it also could describe a person, and I should actually start saying this differently. They're like open-minded people. They have the big picture in mind, but they're also somebody who is always devil's advocate, like just a Gemini, always, oh, you really think so? Even though the person's like, I mean, staunch belief is, let's say, I believe that white is white, they're going to question you when you say white is white, and they're going to say, no, I think it's red, just to kind of like needle you, just to see how you deal in an uncomfortable situation, right? So that's why they're like usually ruling that, like, I mean, ninth, 10th house, right? It's really important for them to just like see this like kind of big ideas. So it's the sign of philosophy, because nothing in philosophy, nothing is firm, right? And Sagittarians are also very inclined to like to meet other people who are very different from them, and they find this is really important. So you'll find Sagittarius dating people from different races or nations, or just enjoying their food. So that's what I'm saying over here. It's going to be something very different over here. So you are starting this period with this eclipse really affecting you. So here's like that healing. So here you have a 4 and 7, right? Because then you're stuck with and you're stuck with it, but you're stopped here because the counting stops when you see the court card. So there is like some kind of like, not a big depression, but melancholy. I always say, people, watch what you drink, it can cost you too much. But this is like a card that basically the suffering is not justifiable. Let's put it this way. Why is it not justifiable? Because it's in comparison with somebody. You're not following your own path. You are not there who you need to be. You're like, I wish that somebody is giving this to me, right? And when this happens, you are not able to travel that path on your own, which means you're not authentic. And this is really coming across really loudly over here. And that's why it's asking you, you need to rebalance. You need to kind of like put yourself in a position that you are checking everything that works and everything that doesn't work. And this is really, really important over here, right? So 9 of Wands, it means that you're going to get out of this funk eventually. Hello, Jasper. Hello. Hey, you. Say hi. Say hi. I don't know if you can see this. It's Jasper walking all over me. So this is a little sister. I don't know if you can see they're getting bigger. It's too many cats on the table, do you think? Huh? She's gentle. She's really gentle. She's very kind of like, she's not as cuddly as her brother, but like, I mean, when she comes across, she just makes sure that you know she loves you. So guys, you're getting out of this funk over here, clearly. And you're getting this like by saying like yourself, that's it, I have to snap out of it, I have to get out of it, it has been enough, I'm not going to do it. So maybe you're doing this like first by checking where you are financially, checking who you are, what you have. And this is a really good way to get out of any shit in life. Pardon my language. It's kind of like, let's assess. Okay, maybe you are in debt, and that's fine as long as you know that you're in debt and that it's a plan. Whatever the plan is, get additional job, or I maybe have to cut on spending more, or I have to increase savings. Like, you are coming with a plan and you are really applying this plan. There is like some kind of celebration because something is successful. This is again culminating around the full moon in Taurus. I don't know if you guys have Aquarians in your life. This to me is always Aquarius card because it's like full of these friends. But look, we're going from 4 to 3. Right? For 4 to 3 is like kind of like stepping back. So maybe some of your friends have disappointed you. Maybe you're seeing them in a different way. It just depends where you are in life. Just think about the life is like a train, and we travel on this train. So when you start in the station, like everything is the same as you knew it up to that point. But as you move, and they actually even explain the theory of relativity that way, is as you move, like things are becoming smaller, right? As you move, or it's just like you look at it from a completely different perspective. And this is like what is really happening, that you kind of like need to pull yourself from the environment instead of like dwelling in some kind of environment. Very, very important. Usually, because like for Aquarians, we have seen how you need to deal with the family in this period. And Leo, make sure you watch the intro. Very important. It's the most important part of your reading. Go in the beginning, go in the timestamps, check intro. But look at this. You, on the other hand, like, I mean, you usually deal with this global. When Aquarians deal, like, there are two same signs, just on a different side of the teeter-totter, right? That's why I say always connected. So Aquarians, if Aquarians need to deal with the family issues, you need to deal with individually who you really are. And that's going to be there, who you are emotionally, who you are financially, who you are as a friend, who you are as a producer of some sort. So there's going to be some kind of like career thread over here, or being a homebody, or advancing certain matters. So whatever decision that you make, how to move it forward, you will really meticulously start applying it. You'll be making small steps. As I said, it's the best to move slow for the next month. So just choose the closest people to you, closest, maybe 2 or maximum 3 people who will be around you for this transition. Anything more than that, and that means family, everybody, just you need to narrow them down to the very small amount, because you will actually really want to be left alone most of this month. And that's dealing on that individual level. You're making some decisions that are really good, that are big picture, big philosophy. Maybe you are simply removing the influence of the big items in your life. Big items are religion, work, and family. And you are maybe realizing that you became a product instead of being who you are. So there's like a thing that you're doing. It's almost like a waking up, yet you don't have the push and force like, I mean, most of us did in the previous reading. But nonetheless, I can see this progress here happening. And let me see here. What did we get? There are 2 cards that came through for you: sadness and falseness. And I think this is clearly happening to explain this. And this shows a snake and a cat trying to kill the snake. There's like something that is making you sad. There's like some emotional thing that personally you were hoping for, that you need to have to come in terms with. Maybe this is to be alone, maybe to find a different focus in your life. But this is like some kind of closure that you guys need to read into, understand it, and then release in order to move forward. So that's it, my Leo. So let's go from here. Oh, glad to hear it, ECAT. So now, for our winners, we have, I'm going to put the doors, but doors come a little later. And I have like this deck for the winners and for the doors, because I generally don't want to affect it with all these messages, because these are individual. Let's remove the fluffy Leo here. And who was the first one? It was who? Barbie and ECAT? Am I correct in this one? Let me see. ECAT? Yeah, and Barbie. Let's go. ECAT. You got 2. So you got 7 of Wands and you got 3 of Pentacles. So together is 10. So since we have this Leo reading, and please do go back in the beginning and check the introduction. It was half an hour introduction and telling us how big things are going to be next 2 weeks. So there's like something new, and then this new is like, again, who you are. Like maybe people are advancing from all the sides. They want it's kind of weird, right? Like, I mean, everybody says when you succeed, oh, I could do it, I can do it, right? But it's not that easy. For certain things you need to have education, for the other things you need to have expertise, for the third things you need to do lots of practice. So somebody else to just take your kind of like, what they call it, wind away, and just it's nothing. I think you're now going to have, they're going to hear it this time. They're going to say, really, why don't you show me, kind of a thing, right? But being that you are Leo, being that you're represented with a sign, with a strength card, you're not going to be as blunt that I guess I would be, or that maybe air signs would be. I'm going to say, okay, you know what, let's do it together. So you're going to really show them on their example why you're doing it. But what you're going to accomplish out of it is that you come out of that more united, more joined together, right? Because this is like the card of collaboration. Like they're all waiting, they're all discussing, there is a plan in it. So you are having like such a high level of diplomacy that is actually joining it together. So whether or not this person is going to say, oops, sorry, I was like an idiot, or not, they will get the lesson and they will get it. So Ikat, good for you if you're able to be this diplomatic. I just have no time for it. Look, okay, I know how to do it. We are going to do it this way. I usually had employees at my work always inventing something new, and always in the last 5 seconds. They said, okay, we have to put it on a back burner, and the next round, if we have enough time, we can look at this path as well. No, I'm sure I will quit if this doesn't work. Well, except I just cannot take this risk that, you know, I destroy something as a result, and then like two parts. But different strokes for different folks. And this is your Barbie. Oh my gosh, you're getting the same card, and you're getting with the Six of Cups. Maybe somebody from the past. In your case, is a different meaning. So this is 13. We are going to this death. You're going to feel very strongly. I don't know like what planets you have in your chart. I cannot remember it now. But you do have a Scorpio somewhere. It's very, very strong influence. Look at 6 and 7, 13. There's like the death card. So you go and watch the Scorpio reading again and check the introduction, because this is going to affect you really, really deeply. So it's going to be for you something emotional. Maybe somebody wants to come back from the past and you have nothing, you don't want nothing to do with that, because maybe you have worked really hard to heal something emotionally, but even though you're air sign, you're Libra, you're able to move forward, like we are quicker to land on our feet. That doesn't mean that we have sorted things out, and generally we don't sort things out during the transition of air signs or in this life. We just kind of like carry on, and it's just like we put more and more energy, and that's why we die from freaking heart attack or something like that. So but this is giving you opportunity to let it go, to really close it, and just to say, oh my gosh, that really hurt me, or it was really meaningful to me, or it's something that makes you feel very nostalgic, but you know where you are right now, and this has to stay in the past, sweet and stuff. And I usually deal with this it's in my life. It's kind of like, oh, or when you romanticize something, then you remind yourself, also he was jerk, he was not returning my phone calls, blah blah blah. I give myself the list of no's that made me walk away from this in the first place. Yes, exactly, Barbie. Go back to move forward, and then you're like fiercely defending your situation. This is like what it is, like, nope, I know that I'm right, and on this one you guys need to trust me. So good for you. And guys, we are coming to the doors, and let's enjoy it over here. So I'll be shuffling the cards over here. Let me just close it. Anything there that can help? I really hope so. So where is my door thingy here? Do I have it? Here, look. There we go. Let's go with this. So guys, if you want your annual, it's an hour and a half reading. And what does it include? It's the first part is general. I just look at your 4 quarters. So I just go from global to more minuscule. Then I go and look all your houses. Like it covers everything from your career to your love life to your friend's life. And also, even if it's a bad card that comes through, to what and who to rely upon, like when you're going through this period. And the third part is Lenormand, which kind of like gives you more of a timeline, and it gives you sort of like the highlights that you really need to really work. And Lenormand is really good to explain all these mini things and lay of the land, as they call it. and then we actually close it. We have the wraparound part, and I kind of like send you like really message that needs to be there. Usually tell people just frame it, type it, write it, because the whole year is going to be sticking with you. So it's about an hour and a half, and that's the only one reading I can do per day on this one. And so just the price is not much higher than just that hour and a half thing, but it's really in depth. So let's go, guys. Door number 1, door number 2, and door number 3. And please like this video. If you're not on my mailing list, just scroll down and join in, because I'll be sending this initial introduction so you can see it. I actually got 2 cards here for door number 1. And there is a card for door number 2. I just keep thinking that something's coming out and then nothing comes out. All right, so let's go back and let me see. You guys are staunch supporters of doors number 3 and 2. Like number 1 is always neglected. What is this? Like nobody in my group wants to be number 1. I love it, because that means we are supporting each other. We are not big on ego, and I really kind of like this kind of like hand, kind of like cradles the other hand attitude. So what do we do here? The door number 1, guys, release. There's like something that needs to end. Maybe you're moving away from the situation. You're going to be very surprised over here. There's like something you don't want to move away from yet. It's going to be just like that is going to tell you, I need to move away. There's like something toxic, there's something unhealthy. So you're coming to a first logical conclusion of this, and you're doing this like with trepidation, but you're feeling really comfort, because very soon you're rewarded with new friends or with events that are showing you that you made a really good move. So the answer is yes, if this isn't a yes or no, but it's also maybe the answer that you need to move away from whatever you're asking, because maybe something better is there. So you need to interpret it yourself. Do you need to leave somebody because you're on the fence in order to kind of like reach somewhere which is much deeper fulfillment, or you want to stay with this person and just go for another round of this? The door number 2 is the Hierophant. The answer is yes, but only if you act in your highest interest, and only if you kind of like, not in everybody else's interest, but also in yours. That, hey, I really want to be with this guy. Is this in your best interest? Is this a good guy? Is this a good woman? So that's the Hierophant, is really looking through that lens. You cannot make anything immoral or ask for anything that is like out of like the fabric of society that we define it. And in that situation is going to be yes. It has to be very traditional. And the door number 3, woohoo, you have the Fool. So maybe you want to start something anew. Maybe there is like a new beginning, new job offer, new boyfriend, new path, and you're like wondering if you should do it. And I would say, yeah, just go for it. Do it. It's going to be interesting. It's going to give flavor in your life. Doesn't show the end because it's 0. It's you're guided by God to do it. And that's kind of like what needs to happen. Oh, thanks, Barbie. Maybe the next time. No, I have to stick to the other ones to read with my Halloween cards, and then I'm going to use the same ones for clarifications. So nothing here, guys, to really add to it. Thank you for allowing me to indulge and not to break my tongue over every sign explanation. So I figured it's better kind of like do it generic when there's like something to say. And here we are, guys. I love you. This did go almost like to 2 hours, but it is what it is, right? The next time I don't have to do introduction, I will just go to signs. So I'm not going to draw which sign is next, because it's going to be something you can guess. That's going to be different, that the next time you'll be able to guess the very first message. So very first sign. I love you guys. You guys have a great day. And it's another thing in French, you're not going to say, they say bonjour, which means good day. So you would say you're going to have a good day, but they say bonne journée. So that's kind of like a day in the process kind of a thing. So I'll see you then, guys. We are going to be pre-Halloween, and I hope you have this beautiful weather. Oh my gosh, we are getting into 23 degrees. I don't know what the heck that is. I'll just tell you what is 20. That's going to be the highest in Fahrenheit for those of you who are not. So it's 74 degrees. So it's amazing. It's sunny, and Tiger and I are going to go and take a walk right now, and he's just in his element when we do that. He's the boss. I let him to be fully the boss. So love you all, guys. Do not forget to order your annual thingy over here. And until the next time, guys, you do know that I love you. I need to start being a little bit more diligent with my social media, and that's why I'm putting it on the screen. But anyhow, until next time, if you're not subscribed on my newsletter, please do. It's in the bottom, and I'm going to summarize the introduction in the newsletter. Love you. I wish you the best. Take care, guys, and until the next Saturday, I'll see you then.